this week's episode, I'm going to be showing you how I created this icy blonde using all pulp-dyed hair. And I'm going to be going over my classic highlighting technique that I typically will use on most of my blonde hair clients. This technique shows how I keep the ends nice and bright and solid and easy maintenance for them when they come back. It also makes it easy for me to retouch their blonde with the technique that I use. So here's my client Taylor's before. She probably hasn't seen me in a couple months, and you can see from her previous highlights that I left a little dimension there, but in this appointment she expressed to me that she wanted something a little bit more blonde, a little bit more solid, so we're going to work on creating a more solid type of look but still doing highlights. And I do love to give her a very bold money piece there, so I'm going to keep with that and just make it a little bit bolder to make her feel a little bit blonder. And then after the color, I'm going to be trimming up her hair to cut off any dead ends that she has and freshen up her haircut. With my classic highlighting technique, I do like to start in the back. This way, if any foils are ready, I like to rinse those out first. So in the back there, right at the hairline, I did start with 6 vol and then I work my way up with 20 vol. And I am using the Pulp Right Blonde F for my lightener. And I like to mix this lightener 1 to 2 so I get a nice thick consistency so that my foils do not slip. Whenever I do this classic highlighting technique, or in general whenever I highlight my client's hair, I always make sure that I pick out the dark pieces that I left out to the previous highlight so that I can keep the ends as solid as possible and create a blonde that is more consistent rather than spotty. This also helps to create a highlighting pattern that you will follow each time, so it makes it easy to pick up the pieces that you left out last time. Since I'm only highlighting the dark pieces that I left out to her previous highlight, this ensures the health of my client's hair and makes sure that I don't overlap onto any previously highlighted hair. When doing this technique, I typically don't like to baby light too small or thin, so that way I can clearly see where I need to pick up the dark pieces that I left out last time. As I get to Taylor's sides here, you can see that I'm taking up these sections horizontally up her head. I find taking horizontal sections on the side of the head, it's a lot faster to get through the highlight opposed to if I were to take vertical sections and then go towards the top of the head later. So as I get to Taylor's money piece here, I like to highlight this following the shape of her hairline. And for her money piece, since she's wanting to go nice and bright and bold, I'm going to be doing 7 slices back to back with no space in between. I typically do about 3 on her, 3 to 4, but she's wanting to be super blonde, so we're going to be doing about 7 back to back. And I typically will only do slices back to back on clients who are about a level 7 and above. I feel like if you do this on a client who is darker than a level 7, this might be too chunky and too bold for them because their natural is a lot darker than what I would be highlighting them to. But this is perfect for clients who are already a level 7 and above that want to feel super blonde and solid because it doesn't have too much contrast against their natural hair color. And here you can see if I do take a slice and come across some previously highlighted hair, I do make sure that I pick out each blonde strand so that I don't overlap and only highlight what is dark. So for Taylor's Icy Blonde formula, I'm going to be using the Pulp Right Liquid Demis. I had the honor to test and create these colors, so they are super special to me. For Taylor's formula, I'm going to be using 9-1, 9-2, and Clear, and this is honestly one of my favorite Liquid Demi formulas that I've used so far. When I mixed her formula, I did a little bit more than half of the formula of clear, and then I did a bit more of 9-1 than 9-2 to help keep the formula nice and icy. And once Taylor's foils were ready and she was lifted to a nice level 10, I went ahead and rinsed these out. And then typically when the back is ready to be rinsed out, so is these front hairline pieces, because the hairs around the hairline are a little bit finer than the rest of the head, so they tend to process a little bit quicker. So in this case, I like to just get a clean towel and kind of wipe off the product so that the hair stops processing. And then I did put Taylor under the dryer to a low to medium heat setting to kind of mimic her body heat since the salon was super cold. Before I apply any type of toner, I do like to shampoo and condition the hair and then towel dry it before applying any type of color. When I begin toning, I like to section out the hairline to make sure that I tone this part last because I want this part to be the brightest. And typically, because it is the hairline and the hairs are a bit finer, it does tend to tone a little bit quicker than the rest of the head. I like to then start applying the product only at the root area and spreading out the product with my hands before I apply to the mids and ends. Once I've covered most of the root, I will start applying on the mids and ends all over the back area first. And I like to make sure that I'm fully saturating all of the hair and spreading it with my hands. Once I've finished the back, I will go ahead and just root the hairline with the toner and then spread it out with my hands again. And then I will typically let this sit for just a few seconds and then see if the back toner is almost ready. Once that back toner is pretty much has settled in, I will go ahead and start toning the mids and ends of the money piece because I want this piece to be the brightest and it does tone pretty fast, so I like to keep an eye on it. Once I was done toning, I took Taylor back to my station, and Taylor has that really fine texture that is pretty much impossible to brush out when it's wet. So in this case, I always advise my clients to blow dry, or if they're at home, kind of air dry their hair before they brush out their hair. This is because the hair, when it's wet and it's this type of fine texture, it tends to stick together and make it feel like it's a lot more tangled than it actually is. And by doing this with this type of texture, you prevent any breakage that you may cause when trying to brush out tangles that are this difficult. And for her blowout, I already prepped her hair with the Pulpbrite Copenhagen, which is their leave-in conditioner, and then I used the Munich hair serum, which acts as a great heat protectant. And I love using these products on finer hair because it gives good moisture without weighing the hair down. And here is Taylor's after. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of this transformation and if you guys would try out this highlighting technique. And the maintenance on this color, she probably only needs to come in about every 2-3 months to touch up her roots and toner like we did today. And at home, I recommend that she would use the Bangkok sulfate-free shampoo and then use the Barcelona purple shampoo as needed when her hair gets a little yellow. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching and tuning into this week's episode. If you are new to my channel, don't forget to like and subscribe this video, and I will talk to you guys next week.